Hi, this is Slink with SMI Corporation EVE Online. This is a brief orientation video for our new members to explain our pay structure and LP system. If you have not already watched the orientation video, this assumes that you've already watched the orientation video, which ideally you would have watched before you joined us. So this is kind of building on what was already covered there. As discussed in that video, there's two components of your basic pay, and that's your base pay and your LP. There's also incentives, but that's kind of extra. Your base pay is worked off of a specific rate sheet. Now this rate sheet I have on the screen isn't necessarily the current one at the time you're watching this video. It just happens to be what we had at the moment I recorded this video. It is periodically updated, probably every few weeks to a couple of months, and adjusted to try kind of keep it roughly in line with the market. Now this is not designed to compete with the market. In fact, it's designed to be roughly 80 to 90% on average with the market general average over time. Day to day, the market's going to come up, the market's going to come down. This is designed to be a very consistent set pace set system, and it's only a portion of the compensation you receive. But in this case, let's say for example, regular Veldspar at $6 an ore. So if you turned in 1 million Veldspar in a contract, you'd be paid right up front in ISK 6 million in ISK for the ore that you turned in. The other portion of your pay is the LP. It's a little more complicated, but the good news is that your station manager does most of the work, unless you're checking their math, which we do encourage. Basically, each time you do turn in a contract or participate in a fleet op, in addition to that up front you accumulate loyalty points. And those loyalty points accumulate over time, and they are used to obtain ships and equipment and other perks from the corporation. This is another portion of your pay, and ultimately it represents maybe 20% of the pay that you receive, so it does become a significant portion of your pay. So in this particular case, I'm using an example. This individual started mining, at least in this station. They had actually started a little bit earlier, but in this station on December 6th, they started turning in contracts, participating in fleet ops and whatnot. And each time they turn in a contract, which is just the rate sheet times the units of ore they turned in, they got paid up front ISK for the contract amount. And then on top of that, the station manager keyed it into a sheet and starts accumulating their LP. So in this case, on this day, he earned 683,000 loyalty points, did a fleet op, another 72,000. Now these just continue to accumulate to the total up here. Now, in this case, in this example anyway, this person has done 115 million in contracts received in direct ISK and has now accumulated another 9 million in loyalty points. We're on this side going to go ahead and say that they received a ship. I'm not getting into detail here, but let's say they received a ship with some equipment on it or whatever that was valued at 5 million. So now they've spent 5 million. So though they've earned 9 million in total, they've spent 5 and they have 4 million left to accumulate towards their next purchase. So basically that's how the system works over time. And one other thing to note here is that this person was earning LP at a rate of 5% until they reached the 100 million mark. So you're paid LP, your LP accumulates at a rate of 5% for the first 100 million, and then 10% for the next 150 million, so between 100 million and 250 million. And then once you've turned in a 250 million worth of ore, you accumulate 20% in LP from that point forward. So the longer you're with us, the more you do, the more LP you get, the more perks and ships and equipment you get. So hope that covers the details. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact your station manager or myself, and we'll get your questions answered. Thank you, and welcome again to SMI.